Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Grandstand. I'm Alex.
Mark.
Today we'll be looking at the Sochi races, supporting the Russian Grand Prix. First up will be Formula 3. Mark will run us through that. Then I'll talk us through the Formula 2 rounds, and then we'll discuss the Russian Grand Prix, and then get on to has Tatiana scored a point yet, and have probably a short take in the pits at the end. So, would you like to get us started on the season finale at Sochi for the FIA Formula 3 Championship?
Yes, let's go on to the FIA Formula 3 Championship, which wrapped up in Russia. Race 1 saw Marcus Armstrong win with a last lap overtake on the champion, Robert Schwartzman, who actually secured the championship in the first race, with Nico Kari securing his, I believe, third place, and only second podium this year. And race 2 saw Yuri Vips win, Marcus Armstrong on the podium once again, and Robert Schwartzman on the podium once again. And I believe race 2 saw Marcus Armstrong secure second in the championship,
Yeah,
meaning it was a Prema 1-2-3.
that's pretty much a guaranteed team win then too.
Oh, I think they guaranteed it 2 races ago.
Yeah, basically, considering that, well, I mean, there's three drivers, and the top three in the championship are their three drivers, so.
So, I guess let's talk for a bit. Do you think any FIA Formula 3 drivers are ready for the step up to F2?
I remember we were speaking, I think it was a few episodes ago. It might not have actually been on camera. I don't think. I remember we were talking about who we thought would move up and who we thought would stay. And we both actually thought that Armstrong would stay in F3 and go for the title next
But
year, but that
but
was
I
when he
think he's
was
had a
lower.
massive Yeah, and he's had a massive resurgence. So I think he,
Yeah, he
along with
jumped up.
Schwartzman, are probably gonna. Oh, or only one of them will jump up and go to Prema.
Yeah.
So I think Sean Galale won't be in Prema next year. I think Ferrari will ask Prema to pick up Schwartzman, so it'll be Schwartzman and Schumacher as a
Mm.
team.
Yeah.
And unless Ferrari, oh no, well, what team does Ilott race for again?
Sauber Junior Team, Cheroos.
So maybe Ferrari will ask Charouz to take Armstrong.
Yeah, I mean, it could also kind of depend on how Juan Manuel Correa goes as well.
Oh, he won't be racing next year. With that leg damage, he'll have to go through physiotherapy.
Yeah, unless something really, really good happens before then. I mean, when we're talking about
Uh,
Mika Hakkinen, but
Very different kettle of fish. But so I think the only three that I could see stepping up, and that would be Schwartzman, Armstrong, and Vips. I don't see Jehan Daruvula stepping up.
no.
He doesn't have Ferrari backing, and he does have the pace, but I think he'd want to win the championship and use that money to help him get an F2 seat. I think that's the position he's in.
Yeah, yeah, because he's not part of a. I don't think he's part of a junior team at the moment.
No. So I think it's going to be Vips, Armstrong, and Schwartzman on my bet to move up. With Schwartzman going to Prema and Armstrong going to Charouz and Vips. Where would Vips go?
Not sure because Red Bull don't have a junior team in F2.
No, but they buy out heaps of seats.
Yeah,
So he could
so
go
it
anywhere.
really depends on who's got a free seat.
Uh, well, I think F2 doesn't really have yearly contracts. You can't have it in F2. You can't have multiple year year contract because if you win the championship, you can't race again.
No, but I mean it
So
depends
there's,
on which teams have a seat free that Red Bull will take.
I mean, with the amount that Red Bull would pay that team, any seat would be free.
Yeah,
Other than, of course, probably Charouz and Prema.
yeah, yeah. Um, yes, I think. I mean, I don't think that many from F3 will move up this year, because I think there's a few that are preparing to take a leap at the title for next year.
Yeah, but I think those three, if any,
Yeah.
I think it's time to move on to your F2 coverage.
Yes, so the F2 race 1 was rather dramatic. Nick de Vries was on pole, fell down the order quite a lot and managed to climb back up to take the victory toward the end of the race. He was then followed by Nicholas Latifi and Louis Delatraz. De Vries needed to be up there, obviously, for the championship to fall into his hands, and in race 1 he was crowned as Formula 2 World Drivers' Champion.
Yep, we hope he enjoys his career in Formula E.
Rip. I mean,
Oh, it's where drivers go. It's where drivers go to kill their career.
unless you're Lucas de Grassi or Jean-Eric Verne or Sebastian Buemi.
I mean, surely if they had the pace, a team would want to pick him up, even as a test driver.
Mm.
That just makes me even go to like Le Mans. I mean, the Le Mans series.
I mean, De Vries already does Le Mans.
True, true. Why didn't he just sign on for a full career in endurance?
Good question. I mean, he's got Vandergaard as a teammate. That might have something to do with it.
You mean Guido? You mean Guido Bantegard?
Yep. Yes. So with Formula Two, Jack Aitken, I don't think he might be able to. Yeah. So Jack Aitken, Sergio Sette Camara, Luca Giotto, Nicholas Latifi all have somewhat of a shot at coming P2 in the championship, but Latifi and
Oh, I
Giotto have been
wouldn't.
right up there the whole time,
Uh,
so it's probably one of them.
yeah.
Giotto
Isn't
won
P
race
two?
two.
Isn't P2 in the championship basically Latifi's to lose?
Well, he's Giotto's really quite close behind.
That's what I'm saying. It's basically Latifi's to lose.
Yeah, and yeah, race two also saw quite a spectacular and terrifying incident. Um,
Oh, are we going to comment on our thoughts on that, or are we just going to?
I think we'll just say what happened because I think everyone sort of knows, but we don't really want to state it. I think you know what I mean. Um,
It was a cert. I think the FIA is being a bit unfair on the driver it's blaming. Yes, he was 85% responsible, but there was another driver who has a bit of blame. I think you can. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think they kind of put the whole thing on one person, but it was considering that everyone was together and it was something that can happen quite like it's something that's happened in F1, it's happened in F3. It's one of those things
Okay.
that is never one sole person's doing.
I think we can both. I think you'd agree with this. If it didn't end the way it did in that long of a red flag period with that much of a concern for health, it would have been labelled as a racing incident.
Yeah, it was just the fact that it was such a scare that they had to do
Yeah.
something about it just to close the case, I guess.
I'm not saying of the two drivers, one is definitely more responsible than the other,
Yeah, but they
and they
put
were.
the entirety of the blame on him, which they probably shouldn't have.
I would have probably gone for what they've done a 15 race grid penalty and a 5 place for the other driver.
Yeah, basically what happened was on the first lap, not even at the end of the first lap. There was quite a sizable collision. We saw Nobuharu Matsushita end up nose into the barrier and then get wiped out again, which sent his rear into the barrier and obliterated the front and rear end of his car in quite a quite a spectacular collision. And he wasn't actually extricated from the car for quite a while, and there was no footage shown, and there was a really long red flag. Drivers were getting out of their cars. They all had to, they're all going to the toilet and running back, so they didn't expect the race to be restarted. Because obviously, after what happened in Spa, the circumstances were very similar to that, the way that it was managed. So everyone did kind of fear the worst there, but turned out in the end they were both taken to hospital just for very, very routine checks, just in case, probably due to the G-force meter. So
Yeah.
Matsushita, Nikita Mazepin got out of his car and walked off on his own. Matsushita was eventually removed from his car, but it took them a while. We're not really sure why,
And
but the point is they're both fine.
there's still no footage of it, as in like after the crash.
Yeah, there's footage of the
Anywhere.
impact, but yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm trying to figure out why they wouldn't show it. Obviously, they would have been talking to the drivers. They would have known that they were okay through talking to them.
Yeah, exactly, and why they didn't announce that either.
Unless one of the drivers was a bit incoherent,
Hmm.
not fully responsive.
Yeah. It might have been knocked out or something briefly.
I'm thinking the reason why the extraction probably took so long is they would have had to spinal board him out.
Yeah, they probably that's what I thought originally. They thought they probably had to leave him in there to and check if he had any leg or spinal injuries because they didn't want to if they had to extricate him, they didn't want to make anything worse while extracting him. So they probably had to make 100% sure that he didn't have any sort of spinal or leg injury that they could possibly jeopardize by removing him. So they probably had to basically diagnose him while he was in the car. Then when they worked out that he was fairly alright, then it would have been just literally quite easy to remove
I
him.
don't know why. I just imagine that if he had a spinal injury, they would have had to put the car on the flatbeds and take him to the hospital so they could remove him from the car there.
Do they do that?
Oh,
I'm literally just imagining that Russian flatbed from 1942 driving to a military hospital with like
F1 car, an F2 car on
F2
the back.
partial a chunk of an F2 car on the back
Yeah,
with
just
just
a survival pod.
Japanese guy sitting inside. He's just waving at Soviet soldiers as he drives past them. Amazing.
God. Anyway, on to the main event.
Yes, Sochi.
Oh, hang on, wait.
Wait.
Wait, it was F2. I need to check something. Has Tatiana scored a point?
Ah.
No, of course she hasn't. But her teammate did. Once again, outscored by her teammate.
Jesus. Gosh darn it. Speaking of our teammate, Markelov did not have a great feature race. I mean, he basically had the car stopped on the first lap.
It wasn't really his fault, but from what I saw.
No, there's quite a bit of carnage at the start.
No. Once again, Tatiana Calderon, you have already been out. You've been outscored by your teammate
No,
once
he didn't score a
again.
point. He didn't score a point.
I'm pretty sure he did in the sprint race.
He came P10, but only the top 8 score points.
Oh,
Either
well,
way,
still,
she still got beaten.
yes, she did.
Lordy. Uh, so, yeah, I guess we move on to the
How
main
does she
event.
still have? How does she still have that seat. There's so
Uh,
many great drivers that are missing out on a Formula 2 seat that could do well in Formula 2. The three we mentioned in F3, Jamie Chadwick,
yeah,
Bert Visca. Didn't she come P2 in W Series?
yeah, yeah.
She'd do better than Tatiana Calderon.
Well, yeah.
Just how does she have that seat?
I don't know. Antonio Giovinazzi has led a race. Sorry, I don't know why I did that.
Trust me, it's not that hard to lead a race. Was it Marcus Winkelhock who led a race?
Oh, yeah, but he's the true greatest of all time.
Remember, we're on the internet. People take that seriously.
They should. I was being serious. That's why I said the true greatest of all time.
You know who I'm sad that never got a chance at F1
Who?
properly. The real goat, not Winkelhock. You know who the real goat is?
But
Davide Valsecchi.
yeah, I mean, in F2, I can never understand a word he's saying.
How can you not understand him? I understand him clearly as day.
Alrighty then. So basically, qualifying and practice in F1, it just simply was not Danny Kvyat's week. I mean, practice one.
I think we got a taste of what's coming to happen with the Suzuka Special Engine.
Practice one broke down, missed practice two. Practice three broke down, missed qualifying. Started 19th on the grid. Luckily, he didn't actually have to start in pit lane and managed to finish P12, which is obviously not bad. There were 5 retirements in the race itself. Charles Leclerc took pole again. Ferrari took P1 in all 3 qualifying sessions. Max Verstappen got P9 on the grid. Gasly 16th. Kubica did remain in 18th. He actually got a penalty but stayed in the place where he qualified because other drivers also got penalised. Alex Albon started in pit lane and mounted a phenomenal recovery drive. Kimi Räikkönen jumped the start and then stalled, but he managed to get ahead and was issued a drive-through penalty. Ultimately finished 13. At the start, Sebastian Vettel took an amazing, I think Vettel and Carlos Sainz had phenomenal starts. It was incredible. Carlos Sainz
But was
overtook Lewis Hamilton at the start. Vettel did jump Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton at the start, but was this due to Matteo Mussolini? Any sort of team intervention there? Not a smart one, obviously,
wait,
but
Matteo Mussolini? Do you mean Binotto?
yeah, well, fascist dictator who tries to run a team but isn't that good at it.
Ah, yeah, I see. Very easy to get confused.
Mm. So, I mean, yeah. So at the start, Carlos Sainz had an absolute scorcher of a start. That was an incredible display from the Spaniard. Jumped pretty much everyone. He passed Bottas and then he
Yeah.
overtook Hamilton in a straight line.
He, he was an absolute smooth operator.
Yep. Yeah. Oh my god. Squeeze. Yeah, so the start was pretty interesting. Obviously, Kimi Räikkönen had the epic fail. Then at the start, Antonio Giovinazzi let out an incredible quote that I don't think we'll ever forget. I was sandwich.
I mean, I don't want to say that he was at fault. I want
I
to say it
mean,
was a racing incident, but
I
if
think it
anyone
was a
was at
racing
fault,
incident.
if it was, yeah, but if there was no such thing as racing incident, if it was anyone's fault, it would be Gio.
I mean, yeah, I'm tempted to say it would have even been Stroll's because Stroll bumped into him just before and boxed him in, like because he was stuck between Ricciardo and Grosjean. Stroll was right behind him, so he couldn't back off either because there was a car right behind
Ricardo
him.
had the inside line and was alongside, which means by the law he has to give room to Ricardo.
Yeah, and Grosjean was on the other side of him, and Stroll was
And
right
Grosjean
behind him
was
because he had
ahead of him on the other side, which means he has to give way. Well, he doesn't have to give way. He has to give room to Grosjean. So he's got two drivers either side of him that, by the ruling, he has to give way to.
yeah. But I'm not sure if he could, but he couldn't though either because Stroll was
Yeah,
right
that's the
behind him.
thing. So I'm saying if Stroll wasn't right behind him and he had another place to go, it would have
Yeah, yeah.
been.
I mean, it wouldn't have happened.
But then you could use the argument that, oh, but Ricardo should have known that was what was going to happen, should have cut the corner.
I think
But the FIA don't see it like that way.
all things considered, they were all pretty lucky.
Yeah, but, well, Giovinazzi was the most lucky.
I mean, Giovinazzi lost a front wing, Ricciardo lost a tyre.
Ricardo lost a tyre and a chunk of floor and basically ended and got his race ended.
Yeah, later on he couldn't make up any more places.
Grosjean got Grosjeaned.
Yeah, and showered as well because Sochi used water barrels as barriers. So when he hit that, he got rained on. Probably didn't
Much Russian.
realize that they had a sprinkler system.
Very much Russian.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like, people saying, oh, Ricardo should cut the corner. The FIA would not see it as avoiding action because there would have been no crash, so there was nothing to avoid. So he would have been given a penalty.
I think realistically, the way that it happened, the outcome that did happen was probably the best outcome that could have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, so lap 7, Bottas overtook Sainz. Hamilton made it back past him on turn 2, but Sainz did overtake Lewis Hamilton in a straight line, which was very impressive.
Indeed. So, shall we go on our team orders rant discussion?
Ah, Jesus. Ferrari need help.
Not just Ferrari, the whole grid needs help. I want to go back to days when team orders were bad, outright bad.
Well, the thing is, right?
And not just radio orders. I mean, there should be an FIA official in all the strategy meetings to report if there was team orders / team planning.
There's always a way to do it. They can just tell their drivers not in a strategy meeting.
Still, it's going to be pretty obvious. Like Leclerc accidentally let the cat out of the bag, isn't it?
I mean,
And have a system where team members can report it anonymously. Punish it hard. Come down on it hard. Team orders. Anyone who is in favour of team orders. We've seen championships decided by team orders. It ruins racing. Ban it. Your thoughts, Alex?
I think you pretty much summed it up there. But yeah, as I was saying, it'll be extremely difficult to actually
Offer a reward
do
system
it.
then.
Unless,
Offer a reward
yeah.
system.
Yeah.
You report team orders, the FIA will pay you.
Sweet. I mean, yeah. But I mean, they could always then still avoid that by keeping it in a really small circle and only telling like the two drivers and the strategist and team principal. You would have to have literally you would have to get a FIA official to follow the guy like each of the drivers and even have them like follow them
Mechanics
into
would
the
know.
toilet.
Mechanics would know, wouldn't they? Because they would know. Oh, why is my driver slowing down?
Well, the driver as well are the ones that you would want to follow. If you put surveillance on anyone, it'd be the two drivers because they're the only ones that have to know.
Oh, no, come down on it hard.
Yeah, put
Ban it.
surveillance on two drivers. Tap their phones.
No,
Give an
it
official follow 'em.
ruins. It just ruins the racing.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's ruined championships as well.
Yep.
Me off.
So yeah, Ferrari failed at team orders as well. Like even if it had like this time that didn't even work. They tried to
You know
use a
what?
team order and failed.
No, they made it work. They made it work in the end with the pit stops.
Well, no, they made it work in the end with the driver in front that was supposed to let the other one pass. The one in front retired. They probably remotely turned
Yeah,
off his MG UK because
yeah, they used the Rubens compliance button.
well, I mean, like in Monaco last year, Ricciardo still had a lot of power in it, and when it stopped working, it just slowly ran out to the point where it just had nothing left. Whereas with Vettel's, it just abruptly stopped. Even if it still had power in it, it just turned off. They probably did deliberately turn it off.
I won't go there, but
Remember
yeah, I
in
think the
Bahrain,
punishment.
Leclerc was supposed to let Vettel pass and didn't, and then suddenly his engine has an issue.
Yeah, you know what I think the punishment for Team Woods should be?
What?
Stripped of all points.
Pull a Spygate on him.
Yep.
Or at least all points from the race where team orders were used.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe just that, but still.
Because if they do it legit, then they can keep those points. Because if they haven't done anything wrong
No,
there.
team orders.
But yeah, so
Oh, yeah.
how about Vettel saying bring back the V12s?
Does he know how many more retirements Ferrari had under the V12s versus the current? Well,
Yep.
you know.
Yep. I think what he means is he won't be having to retire because of the hybrid power issue.
No, instead he just have to retire because his engine leaked oil everywhere and went boom.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lorenzo Bandini, people. Lorenzo Bandini.
I think what Vettel meant was bring back the V10s.
I think he meant bring back anything that's not hybrid.
Unfortunately, we are stuck with it, and
Yeah,
I
well,
don't. I mean, other than the sound, I don't see the big issue with it.
no, exactly. They're faster.
They've been they've been more reliable than previous engines. Well, some have. They've been cheaper in the long run,
More efficient.
more efficient.
A
I
lot of the
mean,
time they're faster, considering they're breaking all the lap records now. Well, in 2018 they did.
yeah.
Yep. So obviously, Ricciardo retired on lap 24 because he couldn't make up any more places. Sebastian Vettel
Well, he
broke
was losing
down.
places and losing speed. His floor was screwed to no end.
Yeah. George Russell had a brake failure while the VSC was out, and that sent him straight into
You,
the wall,
hey, no, he's being very smart here. He's trying to do
helping
what
Mercedes
Leclerc
win.
did last. No, he's doing what Leclerc did last year. Think about it. Have a brake failure, then you get moved up to the next big team.
Pretty sure that's what Ocon did.
No, it's what Leclerc did last year in Monaco. Remember?
Yeah. I mean,
Brake failure behind Hartley.
yeah. But yeah, this time I guess he's trying to get up to Mercedes, help them get a 1-2. Um, Robert Kubica was retired by the team in fear of another brake failure because apparently they only have one set of brakes left and they don't have enough spare parts, so they had
That
to retire
team's
him.
dying a slow. That team's dying a slow, painful death.
Yeah. When you think even Lotus just got bought out because they basically got euthanized. Williams, I see them getting purchased by another team or another company
I mean,
because they're losing massively and they're running out of Frank's pocket right now.
could the team with Pantera buy him out, and that way they can get into the sport in 2021?
Possibly. But I mean, who's Rocket anyway?
I believe it's a foreign company started by a former wheel mechanic in Williams.
Yeah. So when you think like teams, obviously Toro Rosso have Honda, Red Bull have Red Bull and Tag and Aston Martin, Mercedes have Petronas, there's Ferrari have Shell and UPS and all these companies, and Williams have Rocket.
So, I mean, could they get bought out by Pantera in 2021?
I'm tempted to say I hope so.
Just only a slow, painful
It'll
death.
do. Well, it'll help them.
I mean, what's happened to them? I mean, what has actually happened to them? How can they go from a team that was on the pace, well, not well on the pace of the midfield, to being a joke?
Something happened for 2018 though, because like people obviously, a lot of people think it was Claire Williams who ruined it, but she did a lot. Like, look at where they were in 2013. They were horrible, and then she takes over for 2014, and they were fighting for wins every other weekend. Same with 2015 and 2016. They were pretty high up in the midfield. 2017 they were pretty solid in the midfield as well. But then in 2018 something happened, and then obviously this year they've just gone to absolute hell.
They thought they fixed it.
Mm,
Weren't they confident they fixed the issue before winter testing came out?
yeah, I don't know. Whatever it
I
is, I don't see it getting better now. They have to keep retiring or they have to keep like doing stuff with their drivers because they don't have any spare parts.
No, I'm just sad for them.
Yeah,
They just need help.
yeah. So Antonio Giovinazzi finished P15, Pierre Gasly 14, Kimi Raikkonen 13, Danny Kvyat 12, Lance Stroll finished P11, Nico Hulkenberg finished P10, Kevin Magnussen crossed the line in P8 but was penalised and ultimately finished P9 for not using an escape road.
As we all found out through a certain team boss's rant.
That was funny, wasn't it? Lando Norris took P8
Yeah.
from that and is now P9 in the championship standings. Sergio Perez finished P7. Carlos Sainz best of the rest in P6 after running in P3, 4, and 5 for the majority of the race. He fell down to P6 toward the very end. Alex Albon finished P5 after starting in pit lane. Max Verstappen P4, Charles Leclerc P3, didn't manage to recover after the safety car period. Valtteri Bottas P2, Lewis Hamilton P1. So Mercedes 1-2. Crofty sounded quite didn't actually sound that excited at the end.
I think Crofty isn't as bad as Brundle.
No, Crofty's alright. Brundle's a
Crofty's.
El Salto.
Does that I mean? I just don't like him one bit. I mean, how good would it be if someone else did the grid walk?
Yeah, how good would it be if someone else did
I
everything
mean,
that Brundle
I,
does?
I mean, does anyone? I mean, do you find it odd that Brundle then, like 1 minute on the grid walk, talks about how this is time drivers get in the zone and this is when they focus to get ready. Then he goes to try interview them.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
talks about how important this period is for them to get in the zone and focus. And oh yeah, I'm gonna go try interview them all and get in their face. Then he makes it worse by then. If you can't get an interview with a driver, instead of going to talk to people in the team, maybe mechanics or team principals, he then goes, now I'm going to go talk to celebrities.
And as long as the celebrities don't have to do the flag waving, it's fine.
Just,
Because we all know what happens when celebrities do the flag waving.
oh, she was the only one that ever made a mistake.
No, Will Smith was okay.
Yeah.
John Lacey was good.
Just, yeah. All up, I rate Russia a solid
It was interesting. It could have been a lot worse.
It's a C race for me.
Yeah,
Maybe B, C or B, B
since it,
minus,
I
C
mean,
plus
we've had a lot
overall.
worse. We've had a lot worse.
France.
Yeah, 2 hour time penalty to all the fans.
How can I still wonder, I've said it before in the podcast, how can a track so wide, so open, with so many possible overtaking spots produce such boring racing?
I don't know. The last lap was good, but everything before that. I mean, Sebastian Vettel could have been on the podium, but he just out of spite for Canada probably literally stopped, pitted, lost 2 positions purely because he wanted to set fastest lap and stop Hamilton from getting a Grand Slam.
I reckon there was more to it.
I mean, because Hamilton had an easy Grand Slam there, and Vettel stopped at the end just to set a fastest lap and to stop him.
I think there's more to it, but possibly.
It was satisfying either way, and obviously the midfield battle was pretty good at the end.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's time for our favourite segment.
Yeah, let's take the pits out of some people.
Anyone you want to take the pits out of?
I mean, who have we got this week? I mean, birthdays. I mean, we've had Hakkinen and Verstappen, so the Duchy and the emotionless Finn. I presume one of those two, or both.
I mean, taking the pits out of Verstappen is kind of like kicking a puppy at this point. Just, he makes it too easy sometimes. I mean, like people say, oh yeah, youngest GP winner, youngest GP winner, youngest GP winner. Shall we talk about the GP he won?
Literally wouldn't have even been on the podium if the two Mercedes hadn't wiped each other out.
No, he wouldn't have. He was handed it on a silver platter. It wasn't an amazing drive. It was an okay drive,
But everyone in
and he
front of
was
him
just in the
crashed. He
he was just
managed
in the
to
right
stay.
car. He was in the right car at the right time.
He managed to stay clean, is basically what he did.
Exactly.
I mean,
I
well
guess
done,
that's
well done to him
well,
for being clean, considering that he's not normally. But I mean, he is kind of now. But at the time, he was notorious for not being clean. So I think kudos to him for
yeah.
actually, yeah.
No, a gifted, gifted win. Extremely gifted on a silver platter. I would say.
Yep.
No, I mean Austria controversial win. Let's just go over his career wins, shall we?
I mean, we did Spain. There was Malaysia 2017. Um, oh,
Would you
that,
say that was a hard drive, hard flight?
I mean, that one was okay. I mean, I think that one was pretty legit. Um, I mean, obviously Vettel didn't qualify. He was probably. I mean, yeah, I'm tempted to say that Vettel was doing pretty well that weekend and didn't actually qualify. So yeah, that was definitely did work in his favor. Uh, what else is there? There was Mexico 2017. Um, I mean, that was pretty
That was
much
also,
lights to finish.
yeah, that was a well deserved win.
Um,
Malaysia
Austria 2018. I mean, both Mercedes
gifted on a silver
again.
platter,
Again, he was
and
behind both
then another
Mercedes.
driver, and then I think three drivers in front of him retired.
One was okay. Four on the grid were in front of him. in qualifying. One got penalised and ended up behind him. One, he blocked the whole race. Kimi Räikkönen was probably the rightful winner of that. And basically both Mercedes were in front of him and both retired. Then in Mexico,
That was hard fought. I
yeah,
think we
Mexico
agreed
was
on
good.
that.
I mean, Daniel Ricciardo was on pole and he retired again, but Verstappen
Clutch
basically,
issue.
but Verstappen had already gotten ahead of him at the start. Like he
I
got
believe
that legitimately.
I believe it was a clutch issue, but that caused that. Ricardo was running for a clutch issue. I think he said after the first two corners.
Yeah, but Verstappen got that one pretty legitimately because like he got a good getaway and he basically led pretty
Yeah.
much the whole thing. Oh my god, Austria this year. Yeah,
Not
no,
deserved.
not even
I
going
mean,
to talk about that.
there's a big difference between what Charles did in Monza
Yeah,
and what
boy.
Verstappen did in Austria. At least Charles still left some track, enough for a car.
Yeah, I mean
Compared to what
Leclerc was
Verstappen
more
did.
was more blocking, like more going all over the track, whereas Verstappen just straight up kamikazed someone.
Dare I say that if it was not in Austria, there may have been a penalty.
There would have been had there not been 200,000 drunk duckies there.
Yeah. Then again, just drop some pot and they should all calm down.
Then the German Grand Prix, I mean,
If just a silver platter.
yeah, I mean he was extremely lucky that he didn't spin more. I mean he spun once and didn't hit anything. The
I think
only
we've kind of agreed that half of his wins have been gifted on a silver platter.
3 of 7 have been legitimate.
Yeah. Well, legitimately hard fought, well done, good racing. The other have been
Wait, was it 3?
lucky, Malaysia, hard
Two,
fought.
two, 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 two. Two of
Two,
them were
two,
legitimate.
not legitimate, like two of them were hard fought, well done, good racing. The other ones were gifted on a silver platter, right time, right place.
Yeah.
Uh, but we've just angered the Dutchies.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a bad driver. We're just saying that's a good chunk. We're just saying a good chunk of his wins have been helped by luck and chance. Still need to be a good driver to be able to hold on and be in a position to take advantage of the luck and chance you've been given.
Yeah.
Making that clear, aren't we?
Yeah.
You'll have to be a good and fast driver to be in a position to take advantage of those situations.
I'm looking forward to all of the pain, tears, and excitement of the next 20 years, where we see Verstappen and Leclerc fighting for what are
I
all the words
think,
that they say in the intro?
dare I say that, I've got a very odd prediction here.
Mm?
I think Lando Norris will win a championship before Verstappen.
If Verstappen stays in Red Bull, yes. He won't win anything in Red Bull.
Yeah. That Honda engine is proven not to be as fast as Red Bull have claimed.
It's more reliable, but not as fast.
No. Well, is it more reliable?
Yeah. Compare it to
Just think of.
the tag branded Renault engines. Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. So, anything else you want to take the pits out of? I mean, we've already taken the pits out of Ferrari and team
I
orders.
mean, what about Hakkinen? It was his birthday as well. Murray Walker. They both had a anniversary a couple of days ago that you may have seen on our Instagram.
Yes, I think Hakkinen is always third most memorable Finn.
The second,
Dare I say right
the
now?
second best, well, the second most successful Finn.
Who was the most successful?
Who do you think?
I don't know any other Finn that's won more than 2 World Drivers' Championships.
Not in championships, but in every other stat.
Oh yeah, Kimi the Meme Lord Raikkonen.
Yep.
I don't even think we can call Bottas a Finn, the way with how personable he is.
Yeah, he's not really. He's more human than any other Finn.
He needs to renounce his citizenship. He's not Finnish anymore.
And
He's too.
I mean, Keki was Swedish, but he raced under a
Uh,
Finnish license.
yeah, Rosberg should have claimed Finnish citizenship. He could have. He could have raced under either the Finnish flag or the
Or the
German flag, I
he could have
believe.
raced under Finnish, Swedish, or German, or Monegasque.
Monegasque, eh?
Yeah, 'cause basically it's based on how long you've lived somewhere. And you see,
Charles is happy. Charles
yeah,
is happy he didn't do it because Charles can still become the first Monegasque world champion.
I mean, yeah, in F1 that is. Louis Chiron.
Yeah, F1, yeah. We're just talking F1 here. We're not talking what came before F1.
I said first Monegasque champion in F1 because and I said before that there was Louis Chiron.
First World Drivers Champion. Monegasque World Drivers Champion.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I don't believe it was known as the World Drivers Championship before F1, was it?
It was like Grande Preve Championship or something.
No, it wasn't. It was.
Grande Approve.
No, I think that is us wrapped
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I think we're good. So I mean, this hasn't been a long episode. There hasn't been that much to talk about. It's actually extremely hot here. That's why I'm so like conservative with the way that I'm speaking. I'm actually really, really, really hot. Um, and yeah, obviously,
I've seen pictures of you. You're not that hot. You're a solid 6 out of 10.
it's better than a 5. Yeah. So yeah, if you haven't joined our bingo game, join it. If you haven't followed us on Twitter and Instagram, follow us. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, like it. If you haven't joined our Discord, join it. Um, if you haven't it,
That's
Kubica.
Hulkenberg's plan.
E eh, eh.
That's us done.
Yep. All right. See you next time on Beyond the